on the air.
Action, children. All right, there we go. Hello, Michael, and your
Hey.
orange Yankees cap for some reason. Is that for Halloween, or is that just?
I guess it is for Halloween. Yeah, I didn't even think of
Yeah.
that. It just
Yeah.
looked dope, and I bought it.
Okay, I like that. And Brian is wearing his typical tie-dye. I like Brian's background, by the way, because he has like books next to him on one side and then beer bottles on the the side. It's like the
The yin
perfect
and the
match
yang.
of like.
It really is my duality between genius and degenerate. That is,
Yeah.
Genius by the beer. You notice he
Well,
pointed genius by the beer.
Genius
he
and
did.
degenerate.
And degenerate. Yeah.
Beer does make you smarter. Brian, I do want to talk about your travels real quick before we get started, because you are a big Jets fan, and people who've watched the show so far might have gotten the wrong idea because you like passed out during a game or whatever. Like you're a hardcore Jets fan, and you've literally missed two of the best victories they've had in years back to back.
I've missed 3 games so far.
Okay.
I missed. It was because I was in DC, and there's a lot of sports bars in DC, but like at certain times, like it would be too crowded to sit down, or I didn't want to spend money, so I wanted to see if I could watch it from my apartment. And I missed the Chiefs game, which I was pissed that I missed, because that apparently was, even though we lost, that was like, the fact that we almost beat them and got robbed is technically a win for the Chiefs.
By Jet standards, we count that as a tie.
And then obviously we beat the Broncos, which is great. And then apparently, and I did not expect us to beat the Eagles at all, like one of the best teams in the league. And not a chance. And the fact that we did was amazing. But I was traveling back from a wedding from Boston, and I had to take the Chinatown bus, which was miserable.
Can we talk about that? I want to talk about that, Brian. Can I ask you, as somebody who's known you for a number of years, when are you going to stop being poor? Is that on the agenda ever, or are we going to?
It's up to Joe Biden.
When you start paying me back for all the times I put out to you, Phil, then you have ranked up a tab. For
20
services.
We already talked off the air. I'm buying Brian a charger brick for Christmas, and I'm buying Mike a new pair of earbuds or headphones. So yeah, you were on a Chinatown bus with no phone and missing this glorious Jets game. Dude, that is fucking torture.
No phone. It was absolutely definition of torture, because I've taken the Chinatown bus before, like late, and it like. If you take it late, even though you get there at like 1 a.m. to either New York or Boston, you still get there pretty fucking quick, which is great. You know, you'll leave at like 10 and get there at like 1, which is great. This I left at like 2, and I got back at like 8:30. So like,
you come back on a Sunday. I know this from not living. My girlfriend. Her family's from Jersey, and sometimes when we spend a weekend out there, that return to the city Sunday evening traffic absolutely blows coming back into New York. It's worse than regular rush hour, I think.
It was fucking horrible. It was fucking horrible. And, like,
how much is the Chinatown bus, by the way? How much you were coming from where, by the way?
I was hoping
and how much was it?
It was $20. So like, it's cheap. It is cheap as fuck. $20, and I'm coming from Boston South Station, which is it's funny, it's like literally like in the Chinatown of Boston, and then you just go to the fucking Chinatown of New York. So they literally in Boston there's a place called the Corner Pub. It's an Irish bar in the Chinatown section, and they sell white trash egg rolls. You know, it's like that's the most Boston thing. Like, even in the fucking Chinatown section, you're still gonna have an Irish guy that's gonna call you a Ferry and fight you. Like,
this sounds like you had a full Brian weekend right here. Is what this sounds like.
I mean, and I was able to watch like a half hour of the 49ers Browns game, which apparently they got chippy a little bit before. I don't know if you guys saw that, but there was like a fight. There was a bit of a fight before, so with Debo Samuels. Yeah, Debo Samuels popping off and stuff. But like I played McCaffrey, and I mean Kittle fucking sucked shit, but like didn't do anything. But McCaffrey is obviously, watching him play is great, even though it wasn't his best game. Like, he still is. He was still amazing.
All right. So as far as the Jets go, as far as the Jets go, I did watch that game. I was actually out. I was on like a sort of a date afternoon with my girlfriend, but she was cool enough to have dinner with me at a bar that had the game on. So I got to watch pretty much the whole like last 3/4 of the game. Let me tell you, this Jets team. I'm gonna ask a question, pose a question to you, Brian and Mike. I know you're more Giants like I am, but I'll pose it to the general populace here.
Yeah.
Is it time to start believing in the Jets?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't. I've been hurt too many times before. I've been hurt so many. Like
let it out, Brian. Let out the emotional jadedness.
You literally take it one day at a time.
I was going to say that. Yeah.
I mean, we'll see. We're playing the Giants. Not this
that's
Sunday.
right.
Next Sunday. So we'll see. I mean, I think we'll beat the Giants. And if we don't if the Giants beat us, then there's no cosmic justice in the world. Not because I hate the Giants so much, but there's no rhyme or reason why we shouldn't beat the Giants when we almost beat the fucking Chiefs, and the Giants are dog shit this year. But then we also lost to the Patriots, and the Patriots are terrible this year. So I mean, I think even though we had 2 incredible wins, it's still. And I could be completely wrong because I haven't actually been able to watch them. I saw the interception that basically helped us win the game, and I saw a few of the highlights. But I just feel like if the Jets win it, it's not going to be like pure consistent talent like the 49ers, who I absolutely believe are going to go to the Super Bowl.
Right.
It's going to just be like we're probably just going to get to the fucking divisional playoffs with like dumb luck. That's honestly what I think. And I hate to be. So let me a shitty fan, but that's how I feel.
Let me instill some hope into you from somebody who sees this kind of more from an outside perspective.
Right.
You think of it this way, Brian. The Jets, they're one bad referee call away from taking down both of last year's Super Bowl teams.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to look at it that way.
They're better than their record shows.
Yeah. Mike, that's a good way to put it, actually.
They have to. Well, and I agree with Brian. You take this week to week right now because once Aaron Rodgers went down, that was your Super Bowl hopes out the door. So now all you can do is, well, what do we got? What can we do? You have to take it week by week. And I know Jeff fans are not. I mean, I get it. But this team, their defense has stepped up. They, especially with the cornerbacks filling in for Sauce being out with concussion, whatever. And that's a big deal. And their defense has been playing them great. Zach has gotten better. Their offense still isn't killing it yet, but you have an angry head coach after the Chiefs game when he got robbed by the refs, and you want to see him fired up. Yeah, you want to see him fired up. And then you have Zach Wilson, who was public enemy number 1 and just survived all that torture from the fans, and he just busted out and started playing better. So
I'm definitely
they're waking up.
I'm definitely rooting for Zach Wilson a lot more now because he had a great game against the Broncos. The Broncos, I don't know the stats for the Eagles game, but like against the Broncos, he had a really, really good game against them. So I hope he, I said he's not the guy. I'm still not completely sold like he'll be consistent, but I hope he proves me wrong. Fuck it.
He's done just enough though the last several times out. And here's the thing: you mentioned the defense, Brian. The defense is carrying this team right now.
They're killing it. They're great.
Yeah,
I mean, they held the was it 14 or 15 points or something? The fucking Eagles. They have a lockdown defense. So all you need is him to just show up and play league average, and they've got a shot in every. And that's the thing: they're not out of the game. They're not out of any games. It kind of reminds me of last year's Giants team.
And that's the thing. It's not a slam dunk either. But that's the thing. That's why I'm like, I can't say I can't get too excited. It's awesome, but I can't get too excited. I am excited to watch. I think we will beat the Giants in 2 weeks. And then I'll have to see who else.
Yeah.
I think the Chargers will. That'll be a good game too. So we could win the next 2 games. And then the Raiders. The one that the 2 that I'm looking at right now are the Bills, which obviously that'll be our toughest competition, and then the Dolphins too, which will also be your toughest competition.
Yeah, we
have in terms of our schedule it actually isn't that hard, but at the same time, we'll have to see. So I mean, actually, just looking at the schedule right now, I'm sorry if I'm talking too much, but like I don't know, we may have a chance of getting a good winning record on our side, or at least
the Jets are off next
they're
week,
on their way. Yeah.
Huh? Yeah. No. Okay. So we're all kind of
bye week next week.
It's a bye week.
They play the Giants after that.
So I want to throw something at you guys. I want to throw more of it as instead of just focusing on Jets or Giants for a second. I want to ask a general question. How would you guys feel if they extended the season by like a week, and they gave every team 2 byes instead of just the one? Because don't they only give 1, or is it 2 right now?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's 1.
I thought it was 2.
You thought it was 2?
I don't even...
No, per team it's 1, right?
So how would you feel if they made the season longer and they gave every team 2 byes? I think that's the way they should do it. I think it's unfair that some teams get it like week 4 or 5 and other teams get it in week later on when you really need the rest. I think it should be better spaced out in terms of
I think they should get
rest.
Yeah, I think they should get rid of the Thursday games because those are a pain in the ass for everybody, especially when you're doing fantasy. I would always screw that up in fantasy. I would never set my lineup on Thursday.
Thursday game, no, that's the first game of the. Yeah, they're never gonna because it's too much money. But my thing with this is what they should do is they should always make it so it's a team that either is coming off a bye week or a team that played the previous Thursday or something like that, where you don't only have a 3-day gap between games, because I think
you need the break.
Yeah, I mean the amount of wear and tear on a person's body, I can only imagine playing a fucking NFL game.
Yeah, well,
I mean,
go ahead.
Yeah, and I was about to say, I mean, I don't know about that, Phil. Like I see your point, but I don't know if that's ever going to happen in terms of extending, because there's already been debate about cutting preseason, because of like the risk of people getting hurt, and then there's been like obviously talk of like getting rid of Thursday night games because again, like just them getting
they
hurt
never
in
will.
general, so.
It's too much. It's too much goddamn money. The fact that they own the television slate 3 nights a week now, they're never going to take that away. I like them too, but they're never going to do it.
Yeah. So I don't see them extending it at all.
Okay. I just think that'd be an interesting thing, because I don't know. I was just something I thought about. Something I figured I'd pose the question to you, Mike. What do you think? Or do you not have an opinion on that?
I mean, it would be good for the players. The players didn't really want this extra game, but it ended up happening anyway. So the owners control all this stuff in sports, and it's up really to the players to say no.
Yeah.
I think the players would. I mean, I guess they would want it for the wear and tear. I don't know how it screws up their rhythm in terms of preparing week to week for games. But
but the thing is it would guarantee that every team gets to have a late season bye at least once, which I think is a really good thing. Because I mean, these guys they talk about it too. They're very open about it. It's torture in the body doing this. I mean, I'm always on the side of the players generally. I'm for the Guardian helmets. I'm for all grass fields, all that stuff.
Yeah, they have to have grass
is where I'm at.
Yeah, they have to do with grass.
So maybe it's just me, kind of being a, in solidarity kind of thing, even though I'm, not a professional athlete. But I don't know. Just something I was thinking about.
You do go to the gym a lot.
I mean, yeah, sure. But I don't work out 7 hours a day on a pro level.
Don't compliment
I used to work out with football guys in college. What? No.
Don't compliment him, Mike. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
I did used to in college work out with some of the football guys though, and I could barely keep up. Those guys they do some hardcore stuff that it's something that normal people don't even think about.
You worked out with football players?
Well, not like the team, but I worked out when I was in college because when you're 18 in college and your annual income is $12 a year, you can't afford to do anything. So we would go to the free gym on campus, and dudes who were either gonna try out next year or just guys who wanted to get an extra couple reps in the gym, they'd go to the same gym because it was like the free on campus gym.
I wish that was my college experience going to the gym. It was like I made $12 and it was just drinking Keystone and Natural Light.
There you go. Keystone. Yeah. Well, Brian, don't you still drink Keystone sometimes?
No,
That's
they call it the Keystone Pipeline.
No,
you're an adult.
I mean, like
you graduated to Coors Light.
No, I'm poor, but you're right. I am poor, but if you're in your 30s and you're drinking Keystone, you should be euthanized. That like there is no hope for you if you were a 30-year-old man drinking natural. Like you just give up, just tap out, throw the towel.
All right. Speaking of no hope, let's talk about the Giants. There we go.
Let's talk about the Giants. Yeah.
That's a really, I mean, fuck it. That's the segue we're going with. All right. I already said it. We're doing
I was going to ask Brian what he thought about you working out with the football team. Actually.
What if it gets me hard or not?
No, does that make him gay or no?
Does it make
Why would that make me gay?
I don't know. Yeah. I just felt like that was something that you would.
I think Mike is having a bit of a Freudian slip right now. He himself.
I don't know. You always call Phill out for being gay. I thought you would jump on that in terms of the joke.
Believe me, he would jump on this. But anyway, let's talk about the Giants. Unfortunately, so. We had the full, I assume you watched the game. I watched the game yesterday. I would say that this is one of those games where with the Giants, we had the full spectrum of emotions. Because in the beginning of the game, they were hanging in. The defense was held to the Bills to 0 points for the whole first half. They were up 6-0 at the half. And I'm thinking, well, it's only one possession, but they're in the lead. Maybe we got a shot. Maybe they're going to pull this game out. And then the second half was the typical Giants just, that sound, that womp womp that you hear in your head.
Yes.
That was the full spectrum. It was like, oh, maybe we got a shot.
Right. Totally. Yeah.
That was it. That was my technical in-depth summary of the game yesterday. Mike, what did you think?
I slept through most of the game. As you
know, one should these days.
Yeah. I was babysitting my nephew all day, and then when I got home, when you babysit, babysitting wasn't hard. But when you drive somewhere for an extended period of time and all you're doing is sitting in the car driving, when you get home, you're exhausted and you're like, why am I so tired? It's because with a baby and with driving, you have to be alert at all times. You're in total alert. There's no break, he only takes
survival mode.
Yeah, 5 to 10 minute naps. So when I got home, I tried to put the game on. I listened to it on the phone, like the radio, like you did. And I honestly hate listening to Giants games when Carl Banks is mad because he's so honest and it just brings my mood down. And he's like, he's not even being a broadcaster anymore. He's like, this is just terrible. And this thing is, I'm like, I can't listen to this. It's making me depressed. I fell asleep and I kept kind of waking up going, oh, we might record something. And then I saw that it was a 7-6 game for most of the game. Like, it's garbage.
I was fully prepared to do, if they pulled it out last night, to do a very late night recording with just you and me, Mike. But then when they lost, I'm like, oh, fuck this. They can wait another day. If they're going to wait another week or two to win, they can wait one day for me to talk about them for 12 people on the internet.
Exactly.
That makes me want to listen to it. By the way, Carl Banks used to grow up. Well, he didn't grow up. He lived. His son grew up and he lived in the town in New Jersey that I'm from.
Really?
And and there was a dad that used to always complain about pickup basketball games and always fight with the opposing team.
Right.
And Carl Banks was on the opposing team one time. And this dad who I think his son hit Carl Banks' son, and Carl Banks made a whole thing about it. And this guy, this psycho, threatened Carl Banks. It was like, I'll step outside right now. I don't care. That's how.
That's just New Jersey.
People
are.
That
is Jersey.
Yeah. That's just pure New Jersey.
They have no sense to not fight a professional football player. That is just an angry father who will fight.
What was Carl Banks' reaction? He just looked at him like, "Really, dude? Really?"
I think parents actually talked the father out of it because Carl Banks was just exactly. He was like, really, you're gonna try to fight me right now?
Come on, dude. I can literally put you through the fucking wall right now.
Yeah,
I wouldn't fight.
Dude, that's a Super Bowl ring. He would have just fucking taken that ring, just made a dent in his fucking head.
I wouldn't fight old Carl Banks. I wouldn't. And it's probably a Giants fan who wanted to fight him too.
More than likely. It would have been funnier if it was an Eagles fan. That would have been very funny.
Yeah.
So I want to ask a Giants-related question. We mentioned on the show, I think maybe you mentioned on the show a few weeks ago, Mike, that the running back position gets disrespected league wide. Now, last night, of course, if you're a Giants fan, you know that Saquon came back. He played pretty good, actually. So let me ask you, from our general perspective, has he earned the title of irreplaceable, or is he just like an above average running back, you think, and they're going to try to trade him or get something back for him or get somebody else? Like, because I think he's really good personally. So where do you stand on that, Mike?
He's good. He's a good guy, really good class act guy, really good running back. He'll be gone by the end of the season, probably. From what I'm hearing on the radio, it sounds like he'll be gone. There's too many injuries.
Depends what they get back for. I mean, that's the thing, though. When he's on the field, he's dynamic as fuck.
Yeah.
He just is, man. You give him the ball. I mean, he gives the defense a whole extra layer to worry about. Even with the backup. They're playing with the backup yesterday. He was still a factor. That's how, I mean, again, this is...
Now, what does that say?
That's all I'm saying.
So that's interesting, because what does that say about their offensive line? If their running back can still get mileage with a bad offensive line, why can't the quarterbacks? And this is both quarterbacks now who had no offense, really in this game. And I was really hoping, because I'm so cynical, that Tyrod Taylor would get throw for 3 touchdowns, over 300 yards, and it'd just be unbelievable. And
he's got good rhythm.
Yeah.
Well, I like Taylor's rhythm. I think he's got really good rhythm, especially for a backup. He's fun to watch. He really is.
Yeah, I think I was surprised he was the backup when they got. I thought he would have been starting somewhere, at least at this point in his career. But we're in this Daniel Jones QB situation now with a bad offensive line. And again, I still go back to my point of, yes, the offensive line is bad. It's not fair to Daniel Jones. It's why he got hurt, obviously. But if he was that great of a quarterback, he would be able to make things happen. And now we're seeing Saquon play well. I guess you do need the two of those together. It's just the whole thing. Yeah. I don't dislike Daniel Jones as a person. I just don't understand when people claim how great he is. He's a scrambling quarterback. He can't evade the rush, which is weird. And he can't throw touchdowns. And he's got weapons now, and he still can't do it. And it's like, oh, it's the offensive line. It's him.
I like that he's a better-looking version of Eli Manning, though.
Yeah, that is true.
He's a less inbred-looking version of Eli Manning. I'm pretty sure that inbreeding that probably happened in the Manning family is why they're so good. Like, it's just like
you're only allowed to breed with your cousins who are all so tall. You have to have a certain D1 DNA pattern, or you're not gonna you don't get to fuck in this family.
Yeah, Archie Manning bred them in a lab at the University of Tennessee.
Grew them out of algae.
I like how Brian rates his NFL players. I'm like, well, they're good if they can throw touchdowns, but do I want to smash? Like, it's like just as important with Brian. I respect that.
Yeah. It's a separate rating, obviously. Like, I wouldn't smash Mahomes, even though I think he's my favorite quarterback. Like, in the league.
His arm's a 9, but his face a 3, but his butt's a 10. Like, is that where we're at?
Well, that's even. You're being even more generous than me on that rating, Phil.
One day we're gonna do a thing on the show when we get really bored, when we have nothing to talk about, where Mike and I try to pick out hot athletes that Brian would like, because we're both straight dudes. When a guy is good looking, but you can't really tell if he's smashable. You know what I mean? We're gonna try with our it's gonna be the blind leading the blind. It's gonna be very funny.
Yeah,
I promise.
Well, I'm surprised about Mahomes. Yeah, I don't know. I figured. I don't know. I thought Mahomes is decent looking, but I don't know.
You have terrible taste in men, Mike.
Okay.
In me, or
I guess
me or Mike?
No, me. I guess that's good. I don't know. Good or bad? It's not good or bad. I don't know what that means. Yeah, but I get it.
All right. Yeah, speaking of people that have terrible taste in men, let's move on to the New York Liberty. All right, the New York Liberty.
That was good, actually.
I'm doing my best with the segues here on the show. Right?
I know.
That's what we're doing.
This is the most awkward episode yet so far.
This is what we're doing here, guys. We're here. Yeah. The New York Liberty stayed alive. We're recording this, by the way, on Monday. That's very important for context. They stayed alive yesterday. They beat the Aces. They're now down 1-2 in the NBA Finals. Game 4 is on Wednesday, which is either tomorrow, tonight, or in 2 days, depending on when this particular clip gets released. But yeah, Wednesday night they are at Barclays again. Barclays Center. They're trying to stay alive. And I just want to say I am rooting for this for two reasons. One, because it would be great to actually have a championship in New York. And also, if they went to a full 5 games, it would be the first 5-game series this entire month of October because the baseball playoffs have sucked so far. They've been boring as hell. But yeah, WNBA, they are staying it. They're alive. They're only down 1-2. Go Liberty. I don't know if you guys have anything to say about that.
No, I wish we could have went to the I wish
there's no hot guys. We're not doing it.
I truly that's no disrespect at all to the WNBA. I'm not going to go for the hack joke. Like, who cares about women's sports? Like, no, fuck it. They're killing it. They're killing it. And like we've mentioned on like the last few episodes of this show, they're like probably. Well, I mean, we'll see how the Jets continue to do, but they're the most like respectable New York team right now.
They're the only team representing it all.
Yeah,
they are.
I hope
the
they
Jets
win.
are actually okay, but yeah, no, the fucking Liberty, they're doing it. They're doing it for us.
Yeah.
Well,
we got hockey. Hockey is here now. The season started.
Oh yeah, that's right. Hockey did start back up this week. Mike, I know you're a big Rangers guy. Yeah. They won the opener, which was pretty cool.
They won the opener 5-1.
The other game.
And then they lost Saturday to the Blue Jackets. And we were trying to figure out before the show what the new, well, it's not new. It's been around a few years now, but the way they give out the points. So you get a win, a loss, and an overtime loss, and you get a point for an overtime loss, which is because of a shootout. And none of us understand why you get a point for any kind of loss.
Wait, is it shootout? Or I thought it's just sudden death overtime.
I think they go to shootouts. I don't even know. This is how big of a hockey fan I am, is that I don't even know how the game is played. So, we got
to go to a game this year, man. We got to go.
No, we are.
The problem is going to the Garden is so damn expensive. No matter what event you're seeing at the Garden, whether it's like a 90s pop act or sports, it's like the cheap seats are like hundreds of dollars now. So it's a tough.
Well, what did we pay? We went for the Knicks game. What did we pay? Like $50?
We paid about $60 each, but we literally bought our tickets last minute when somebody was desperate and just needed to get rid of them. So that's how I buy all my tickets pretty much for the most part, by the way.
Right.
It's
too damn expensive.
We need to get somebody on the show who knows what the hell. I've been trying to get Foxy J. I want to get John Fox on the show because he's a hardcore. He would actually know it. I want to get him once in a while on here to walk us through hockey, so us ignorant morons who only watch football and baseball can actually have something mansplained to them. We can maybe learn something on our own damn show. But yeah, Rangers are 1-1. That's pretty cool. The Devils, I think, are 0-1 right now, right, Brian?
What?
Yeah.
What did you say?
I said John Fox would be the one to do it. Would be the one to explain it.
Yeah.
So
yeah, he would.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Baseball off season as far as people in New York are concerned right now. There was a story that came up this week. I just wanted to ask Brian about this and mention it before we get to the other stuff we're going to talk about, which is that rumor has it right now that Joe Madden wants to be the Mets manager. And that is interesting for a number of reasons. Brian, does that make you excited at all? Possibly in the pants and maybe not in the pants? I don't know. I don't know if you're into older men, but Joe Madden's a damn good manager.
Say that again.
Does that make you a little excited in any way? The prospect of Joe Madden replacing Buck, or not really? He's just another manager. What do you think?
No, I don't care about that. It makes no difference or whether or not. I mean, Joe Madden, like, yeah, I don't know. It doesn't make any sort of difference to me whatsoever.
It's either him or Craig Counsell, I heard, because their GM was from the Brewers and they were thinking about getting Craig Counsell.
So let me try to sell it to you, because I don't really care one way or the other. I'm a Yankee fan, but you know how we talk about Buck Showalter as always a manager of teams like right before they start winning? Joe Madden is a manager right when they start winning, because he was the Rays manager back in 2008 when they went to the World Series for the first time, and he then went over to the Cubs when they were actually good in the mid 2010s. So that might be the bellwether, if you will, of the Mets actually getting to that next level in the next couple of years, Brian. So just to try to sell it, I think that's something to think about.
I mean, I kind of feel the same way about Dusty Baker too, as well. Yeah. Like Dusty Baker has had like a crazy career. Like he was on the Cubs when they were amazing. And then, but then they obviously had the Steve Bartman game where they shit the bed, and some people like blamed Dusty Baker for some of that too as well. But and then obviously he was on the Astros too, and I mean that's the one I actually respect Dusty Baker a lot, and that was the one good thing is that Dusty Baker was able to get a World Series even though he was part of the piece of shit Astros. But
right. Yeah,
you don't have to hate him as much as we do, Brian. That's totally fine. All right, so you don't have an emotion on that one way or the other.
No, absolutely.
Also, we wanted to talk about. You were at Comic-Con?
I was.
You were at Comic-Con, and that's not really a sports thing, but I know they sell some sports merch there at some of the booths. You were there doing some interviews, right, for like wrestling or something? What were you doing there?
No, I was there. I actually was there. I got to go with Frank the Tank. If everybody knows Frank the Tank, we were there, and he got to do something.
I don't know personally, but
he got to do something there for Barstool with Ric Flair. So Frank's a great guy. He's actually trying to build up his subscribers on YouTube, so go subscribe. But me, him, and his buddy Matt, we were walking around. In terms of sports stuff, they had starting lineups. One guy was dressed as a New York Yankee in a full uniform. Pretty much it. Otherwise, so I got to meet Mickey from Seinfeld, the actor who played Mickey from Seinfeld. I got to meet him and get my picture with him. And then I met two of the guys that were in the Warriors. So I met Cochise and Vermin, which was awesome.
That's cool. That's cool. Yeah,
that was cool. I got pictures with Vermin, and Cochise was in the background. I think I was supposed to get a picture with both, but it just didn't have time. But the problem was, and you had texted me to see if I can find a shirt for your buddy, which if I had seen it, I would have gotten it. But the problem was there was no Wi-Fi in the place. And then they said, oh, you have to go to the ATM because with no Wi-Fi, the Warriors guys, they couldn't take credit cards. They were like, we wanted to, but they were getting pissed about that they couldn't, like they were losing fans and money.
I've never been to Comic-Con in New York City.
It's at the Javits Center.
It is Javits Center, which is a big convention center. It is absolutely one of the most crowded experiences of your life. Like picture like when you're at a ball game and the game lets out at the end and everyone's like shuffling towards the exit. You can't walk more than 8 steps a minute. It's that, except all day, everywhere you are inside the entire Javits Center. It's crowded. It's a nightmare.
And more BO and dandruff than usual.
Yeah,
too.
There was a lot of BO.
There was a lot of BO.
Definitely there, and a lot of scantily clad women, which that I appreciate. Big fan of the scantily clad women dressed up like video game characters.
There was pretty much there was that. There was scantily clad. There was a lot of incels. There was scantily clad men. I mean, there was a lot of everything there.
It is definitely. I want to touch on that for a minute, actually, Brian, because I've been to cons that are not New York and in New York. You do have a weird mix of like women who like put a lot of really like effort into their costumes and who, for the most part, aren't that socially awkward. And then you have just a bunch of just like dudes who like the stereotype of the dudes who never leave the basement and just post like memes on the internet. Like those guys are well represented at Comic-Con. That is absolutely a thing.
Yeah, they
The
are. I haven't been to Comic-Con in like a while. I
Mhm.
used to play hooky and go to Comic-Con in high
Yeah.
school. But like every year I'd call out sick, and then we would just go to New York. Wouldn't tell our parents. That me and a few of my friends.
Just
But
hop on the bus.
Well, yeah, and I met Lou Ferrigno too, and Lou Ferrigno tried to charge
Yeah.
$40 for an autograph, and I was like, "No, you're not worth." I told Lou Ferrigno straight up to his face, "I'm like, no, you're not worth it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We don't remember the '70s Hulk, okay? You are
I remember
not worth $40 at all, Lou Ferrigno.
Especially when you're a teenager, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, I met him at I was gonna say I met him at another Comic-Con. There was a competing one called the Big Apple Comic-Con, different owners, and he was there. And I got deaf guy asshole confusion because I was talking to him and he wasn't looking at me. And I'm like, is he just ignoring me, or is it because he couldn't hear me? So I had, like the Curb Your Enthusiasm shy asshole confusion. I had deaf guy asshole confusion.
There you go.
Yeah, with Lou Ferrigno.
So I want to finish the thought I had a second ago. So you're at the Comic-Con and you have these like socially awkward dudes, and you have these like women who aren't as socially awkward but are dressed up, often scantily clad, which throws dudes for a curveball.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, I'll let you finish.
Yeah,
I'll let you finish. I'm sorry. The women are the opposite. They're very outgoing, which is the difference.
They're very bubbly. They're very nice.
Very outgoing. But yeah, go ahead.
It got so there's this convention that I went to, not in New York, but this other convention years ago that I've been to, because I've done some nerd shit in my life, where there was a panel towards the beginning of the weekend called Cosplay is Not Consent, where they had to explain to people in detail, like, just because you're dressed up as a certain anime character and a woman is dressed up as the love interest of that's fiction. You can't just walk up to her and start touching her or kissing her or whatever just because they're dressed up. You're not that person in real life. You can't, like, and they'd explain to people that, like, it's not okay to do that.
There's a lot of accepted partial nudity at these conventions.
Yes. Well, and dudes who aren't used to that in real life, it's like it sends their brains to a very certain place where they just don't know how to act. It's a very weird.
It just sends them into overdrive. It just
it does. Yeah, 100%. No, it definitely does. And so anyways, that panel, it was stories of a bunch of like, do this, don't do this, and then people are allowed to tell stories of like weird things that have happened to them at these cons. And one of them was there was a story of this lady who she apparently just like rode the elevator up and down like the hotel, the convention center, and she would just grab dudes' junks just out of nowhere. And she did it for like 4 hours, 5 hours, and no one said anything, which I thought was pretty funny. So there's some crazy lady who apparently was just at this con who would just ride the elevator and just grab dudes' dicks and they got onto the elevator just for hours on end.
This wasn't Exotica?
I don't know. No, it was like a normal like nerd con, and so it goes both ways, but it's mostly men. I'll say that much.
Well, it's like jackpot for the guys who like women, and if they're in their basement, they have no social skills. There's a big lack
and that's what I thought was funny.
Social skills,
was that if it was a dude, that guy would have gotten arrested within like 45 minutes. But if the fact that it was a woman, like no one said anything.
No, men are different. Because men are. We're pathetic.
Absolutely. I hate to break up this conversation about sexual harassment, but I do have a proposal that it would be amazing.
Brian, I'm flattered. I'd like you as a friend, but I'm not. I don't swing that way.
Well, you
do work out with the football players.
Yeah. But no, I have my proposal is that, oh my God, wouldn't it be amazing? And I don't know if this exists, but we should do a Nosebleeders episode if there was like, if we saw like a fight that happened at Comic-Con, like
like a nerd brawl.
Yeah, that's acceptable. Yeah.
Oh my God,
no, we could do
nerd
that.
Brawl would be amazing.
That'd be like, I'm wearing my +4 strike ring.
Well, if they have weapons and they would, that would be interesting.
What's that called? Where they fight LARPing? Have you ever been to a LARPing thing?
Right. Yeah, live action role play.
I mean, LARPing gone wrong would be an amazing Nosebleeders episode.
Dude, we have to find that. That exists somewhere. We have to find that. We have
to find
two overweight Lord of the Ring fans dressed up as Gandalf just like beating the shit
Yeah.
out of each other.
Like, no, I cast in my protection bubble before you hit me, you son of a bitch. And they just start beating the shit out of each other. That'd be fucking great.
But they fight in character. They don't fight as themselves. They stay in full character when they fight.
Yeah.
You shall not pass. Yeah, that would be the best. I want to see that.
Speaking of brawls.
Okay.
Mike, do we have a brawl queued up this week to bring us home?
Yes. So we are getting very close to the start of the NBA season. And what better way to start off preparing for that by watching a classic Knicks brawl where it's not so much a brawl between players. It is, but it isn't. It involves Marcus Camby, Jeff Van Gundy, and Danny Ferry from the San Antonio Spurs. Let's just get right into it and you'll see what happens.
Let's rock.
Okay, so Camby is going up. You see, okay, so Kurt Thomas went up, and then Marcus Camby went to get the rebound. Danny Ferry hit him in the face, and he's pissed. Obviously, he got hit in the eye. He thought it was a dirty play. And you see Latrell Sprewell, Chris Childs. This is when the Knicks, before they became horrible. And there's Danny Ferry.
Is a full 14 inches shorter than this guy.
Yeah, he's going to break up the fight, obviously.
Yeah, really.
Danny Ferry's like, I didn't do nothing. Danny Ferry's, Camby's like, what if I had contact?
That motherfucker needs Rogaine.
He wails on him. Punches. He went to punch Danny Ferry, and he accidentally headbutted his own head coach, Jeff Van Gundy, who was on the ground in pain. Only Jeff Van Gundy this would happen to. So we have him getting trampled in the Alonzo Mourning fight. And now we have him getting struck in the head by his own player by mistake.
He needs disability from the Knicks for this.
Oh my! He just,
give it a cheap shot him, man. Man.
Yeah, that was pretty bad on Camby. The cheap shot him.
He tried to come at him from behind, and
not cool.
Boom.
Bad all around.
Knocked his coach down.
He knocked his coach out. That's why you don't go for cheap shots.
He missed the cheap shot. He barely grazed him. Oh man.
Okay. Yeah. And that's on
the coach for getting in the middle though too as well. Like I feel like it's like no, just let it happen. What are you doing?
So Kurt Thomas goes up. Yeah, this is so you see he swung back Ferry, so it was kind of dirty, and he hit. Look right here. You'll see Ferry. He'll box him out. He'll swing back. Cheap shot, whether
his name is Ferry. I wonder if opposing players who didn't like him called him Ferry to try to get him riled up.
That's kind of offensive, Phil. I don't know. Oh, and here's kind of let's go back to that. Let's look at the damage that was done. Since we don't own the right to this and it's gonna flag the video anyway. Let's take advantage of the graphics we're not allowed to use. Marcus Camby suspended 5 games. This is from MSG, so sue us.
Okay.
Marcus Camby suspended 5 games, $25,000. Danny Ferry only 1 game, $7,500. Danny Ferry. Danny Ferry. And that's
can you just picture somebody saying that though, like on the court when you're talking smack? I can. Like, Danny Ferry, more like Danny Ferry. Let's try to get in his head. Oh, Ferry boy, you gonna steal the ball from me, Ferry? But too slow, Ferry boy. Like, know that somebody did that to him on the court.
And our generation went through that. There were previous generations, so I'm sure there was a ton of that.
They probably used a different F word right after it too. Back in that era for sure. As far as a rating on this, it wasn't like a full-on brawl. It was kind of a cheap shot. I'll give it like a 5.5.
Yeah. Brawl-wise, wasn't great. Yeah, maybe a 6, only because of the funniness. Funny meter 8 or 9.
Yeah, the funny gets an extra 1.5 because it's like a 4, really.
Brawl was bad, but
the cheap shot and the fact that the coach was unintentionally involved gets the extra 1.5.
And it was Jeff Van Gundy, who's always kind of like goofy, or like he has that sense of humor where he comes off as goofy. Yeah,
that is kind of funny. Brian, what do you got?
I'm going to give it, because of what you said, I'm going to average it out to a 7.
Okay.
All right.
Again, in terms of like a brawl, in terms of like an actual brawl, it's under a 5. He didn't connect any there was no punches connected. There was no. It was only Camby that was the one that threw the punch, and then it just kind of like fell apart after that.
Yeah.
So, but 8 or maybe a 9 in terms of funniness and watching.
Right. It's very funny.
Very funny.
just
what about?
Fun. So yeah, I'll average it out. I'll average it out to a 7 because this is definitely the type of clip that I would watch over and over and over again.
Yeah, it's definitely loopable. Where do you put Jeff Van Gundy on the smash-o-meter?
Oh, not at all.
None at all? Okay. No,
Not
you
at
brought it
all.
up, Phil. You said we were gonna have who would Brian smash?
Well, he's the coach. You gotta talk about the players. You gotta talk
but I
about
think we should. I want to know about the coaches too. Why not? What's wrong with all the men?
You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna do an athlete version, and then we're gonna do a silver fox version where Mike tries to guess which coaches are smashable. That's what we're gonna do.
Why not? Yeah, coaches and players.
No,
I'm just against ageism. I'm against
that's a small pool right there.
See, I think
small pool right there, my guy.
I think some coaches get better looking as they get older. Silver fox,
oh,
like you said.
You know how you always accuse me of being the secret gay? Well,
tell me, look at Phil Jackson when he played it, and look at him when he had the suit on. And he was a coach.
Mike's story is like, I don't know, Doc Rivers, give him a chance, okay?
no, really. Well, now he's talking about like style. He's like, I do really like a man in a suit. Like that's what I heard just now.
I'm 8 years from turning 50, so I'm trying to get ready for the Silver Fox era. Okay, so I'm just hoping that when I get there, that I will be able to land more women.
So
That's what this is all about.
This is the episode where Mike comes out of the closet.
Phil's not wearing pants. Phil's not wearing pants.
I am not wearing pants for the record right now.
Phil's not wearing pants.
I want this fucking this channel to blow up so we can get paid. And I don't have to put pants on. Like that is the dream. You have to admit that is the dream. I think that is an unfortunate place to end for both me and Mike. There we go. This has been awesome this week, guys. All right, I will. I'll talk to you guys later. I guess
we'll see you next week on the pod.
There we go.
Take care.